power of the press triumphs.
Jameson, you slime!
I resent that. Call the patent office, copyright the name Green Goblin. I want a corner every time somebody says it.
Contro la minaccia di Norman Osborn, alias Green Goblin, Spider-Man, l'uomo ragno. Collezionali tutti, super possible, web swinging.
So, I already talked about the insane hype of Spider-Man 3 and 2, so now it's about time for me to
Finish it! Finish it!
That's right, baby, we're going back to 2002 when the world got bit with Spider-Mania. Now, as crazy as the sheer volume of marketing behind 2 and 3 were, you gotta understand at that point those were practically layups because Spider-Man 1 was the blueprint, the formula. For months, Spider-Man was showing up any and everywhere. The hype was electric because we would finally achieve the impossible and finally get to see this beloved character come to life. The world was ready. Now, Spider-Man 1 has been around for the majority of my life. My memory and window of a time before live-action Spider-Man wasn't very long. But even then, I was a fan of the character before the movie. I'd watched the animated series, and I had this random Spider-Man action figure. And I remember as a small child waking up my father from a nap and asking him, whatever happened to Spider-Man? See, I was convinced Spider-Man was a real person in history. He had to be. And without missing a beat, gasping awake, my father looked at me and he said, "They buried him. In the mountain, in the mountain, in the mountain." But I guess thankfully Spider-Man would never die, because his legacy would be soon honored with the biggest blockbuster of summer 2002.
You're changing. I went through exactly the same thing at your age. On May 3rd.
Not exactly.
Swing into action.
Wanna take you on a roller coaster. You do too much. You're not Superman.
Rated PG-13.
A Spider-Man movie was something that people thought just never was gonna happen. Sure, there had been some live-action iterations of the character before on television, what have you, but this would be the event that would finally catapult Spidey to the big screen, with the appropriate budget and advancements in special effects to pull it off.
The Spider-Man movie is a combination of live action and computer-generated images. It is made to look like frames from a comic.
And that's a funny thing to say. The movies are getting as good as the comics, and they're even getting better. The movie versions are getting better than the comic book version. I never thought I'd say that.
You know, maybe some of it wasn't quite all there yet, but those early shots of the web swinging looked like a dream come true. Disregarding the twin elephants in the room, once Spider-Man 1's marketing was in full swing, it was an endless barrage of Spidey showing up everywhere. I remember going to this little festival event in town where kids could meet Spider-Man. He was going around handing out tattoos promoting the movie, and that's when I knew Spider-Man was truly not dead.
Ha-ha! Spider-Man! What's cracking, baby? Woo! Hey! Where you going, Spider-Man? Woo-hoo! Ha! You're getting the girl. Save it today. Yeah! Go, Spider-Man!
Of course, you had the movie tie-in game. At the time, Neversoft's PS1 Spider-Man game served as a testament to just how well Spidey could work in 3D. And this game here is largely a natural continuation of many of those ideas with very similar mechanics, only this one has a stronger emphasis on using different combos. For a movie game, it's pretty good. This is definitely what was considered a solid rental at the time. Today, you don't really hear too much about this one anymore. It's just largely been overshadowed by the Spider-Man 2 game and so many other later Spidey titles. Nowadays, it kind of feels like the awkward middle child between the PS1 games and the open world era of Spider-Man. But if you dig deeper, there's a lot of weird shit going on with this one. Like, for some reason, this game based on a movie by Sony Pictures, which was released on the Sony PS2, has an exclusive level and boss fight that you can only play on the Xbox. What's up with that? And the level isn't even that crazy or anything. It's not like it was too powerful for the GameCube and the PS2 or anything. It's mostly just a series of hallways with you going through Kraven the Hunter's obstacle course of booby traps. I will say though, there is a pretty neat part where the camera shifts perspective to Kraven's sniper and you gotta dodge his reticle, but I don't know. It wasn't exactly a groundbreaking exclusive level or anything. I think probably the fascinating thing about this game, above all, something so unique that really elevates it as a licensed game, is that once you beat it, you unlock Green Goblin mode. where you get to replay through the entire campaign not as Norman, but as Harry Osborn taking up the Green Goblin mantle. And what's nuts is just how much work they put into this. They could have just made it be like a Green Goblin skin, or just had you inexplicably playing as Norman, but no, they go out of their way to retell the story in its own canon.
Using Dad's goblin gear is just nuts. That weird invoice I found with Dad's stuff sure made it look like he was hiring the Skulls gang to do dirty work for him. I have to know what he was doing.
And this mode kicks ass. You get an entirely new moveset, you get the glider, the pumpkin bombs, you can just unleash absolute hell on these NPCs. It's a hell of a time together. There's also the Game Boy Advance version, which does have those impressive 3D web swinging levels too, but they're more like a quick time event bonus stage. And yes, you do get a compressed live action Game Boy Advance video intro, where you can actually count the pixels and they're about less than 12, like damn. But hey, at least we can say we can finish off the entire Raimi trilogy on Game Boy Advance. That's kind of cool. Oh, and don't worry, if you like Spider-Man in VR, this is where it all began, the Spider-Man 1 VR helmet. Oh, and guess what? It's the exact same shit. They just switched the colors. The game still poop from a butt. It's so one-to-one, you can even use the Spider-Man 2 controller, which I had to do because I guess someone forgot to remove the batteries 20 years ago.
It's the power of Spider-Man in the palm of your hand. You can become the ultimate web slinger with the new Spider-Man Web Blaster. You're on a mission to blast the Green Goblin out of your friendly neighborhood.
I wanted those official Spider-Man 1 web shooters so bad, but I was never allowed to have them because I guess they'd make too much of a mess. Now I finally have one. A brand new, fresh with the aroma of 2002 web shooter with succulent, untouched web fluid. Something like this needs to be protected and carefully preserved. Now, if there's anything these movies taught me, it's that with great power comes great responsibility. Go, Web, go! Oh man, I got web gunk all over my 2002 Green Goblin plushie. Look how cute he is. He's so doofy looking, a little baby. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Oh. Spider-Man 1's marketing included everything. Adorable plushies, you had these cutie patootie little Spider-Man 1 bobbleheads. Look at that. Oh, my Spidey senses are telling me I got hoes hitting up my Spider-Man 1 cell phone by Singular Wireless. And of course, you had the big-ass Spider-Man 1 walkie-talkies. And you know what I learned? I'm Spider-Man. You're Spider-Man. We're Spider-Man. Everything's Spider-Man. Spider-Man Pop-Tarts, Spider-Man cereal, Spider-Man back-to-school products, Spider-Man everything. Apparently for a brief time, promotions like these for big blockbuster movies like Spider-Man 1 were actually surprisingly seen as a bit of a risk. Basically, a few years earlier, a movie was coming out called Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace, which had one of, if not the largest marketing campaigns of all time. And in an unheard of move, did a ton of different promotions across so many different brands and fast food chains, which, as popular as it was and as fondly as we all remember it now, they actually ended up vastly overproducing and oversaturating the market with Phantom Menace merch. And according to the New York Times, left warehouses filled with a lot of remaining unsold stock.
Only the strength of Pizza Hut, KFC, and Taco Bell's 17,000 domestic locations could handle a tie-in with the release of the most anticipated movie ever. Pizza Hut will be transformed into the planet Coruscant.
And these campaigns didn't really end up benefiting these chains profit-wise, with sales during the Phantom Menace promotion being lower than the year prior. One spokesperson for Dr. Pepper called the marketing tie-in with Spider-Man a calculated risk, which is why instead of partnering with a titan like McDonald's or Burger King, we got some Spider-Man 1 kids meal toys from Carl's Jr. / Hardee's. Now, for those of you who don't know, ain't no damn kids going to Carl's Jr. It's basically a prerequisite to step foot in the restaurant. You gotta be 35 plus, balding, and have most of your arteries clogged. Thankfully, Green Goblin was so cool it ended up translating well to even this Carl's Jr. chibi Green Goblin weenie turret thing. I've said it before, but I absolutely loved the Green Goblin's design as a kid and all the little variants we got here. A lot of people at the time thought it looked cheesy, and I do think it is a bit silly to cover up someone as expressive as Willem Dafoe and pop a Power Ranger helmet on him, but the green armor just contrasts so damn well with Spider-Man's red and blue color scheme. I always loved it. That's why we also got things like the Green Goblin electronic glider, where we got Green Goblin permanently set to my Anaconda Don't mode. Whoa! You stick him on the glider here and it basically becomes the Green Goblin cake mixer, if you know what I mean. Yeah, this is one of those toys that's so obnoxiously loud. It is definitely the type of shit your parents rip out your arms and just start smashing.
My hands, they're all hairy and sticky. No change there.
I'm a mother grab And I know I'm not
Spider-Man.
Then stop pretending to be.
Still ahead, what's black and white and web all over, and cleaning up at the box office.
People throw around the word iconic nowadays a ton, even for the most mid-ass shit, like why you calling Stuart Little 3 Call of the Wild iconic? But so much of Spider-Man 1 truly felt instantly iconic. The upside down kiss, the entire sequence where Peter discovers his powers.
Wow.
It does help, of course, that the character and lore had decades of cultural importance and history behind it, but the movie stood on its own as this landmark achievement. As I got older and started familiarizing myself with the comics, I can definitely see why a good chunk of longtime Spidey fans were mixed on certain liberties the movie takes, but given that I was still so young, most of it's just so inseparable from the character for me. Like when I found out that people were mad about the organic web shooting, like the concept of web canisters will never not be jarring to me. You tell me Spidey is using the same shit from Walmart I am, it broke my brain. Like, what are you talking about? He got bit by a radioactive spider. He's Spider-Man. That's like his whole thing. That's his power. I was kind of in denial about it for a long time as a kid. I started noticing it in the animated series, and I just always figured the canisters were like a way to like control the fluid or some shit. I don't know. Apparently, this was a last-minute change with early teasers showing the web shooter, a controversial switch even to this day. There are definitely aspects of Spider-Man 1 I do think for sure could have been done a little bit better with things like Harry and MJ's characterization, but I think this movie just hits so hard in all the areas that really count. It's so earnest with its tone and style. It may not be one-to-one the most accurate to the source material, but I think it succeeds so damn well in all the right areas that it really ends up nullifying a lot of its weak spots.
Are you in or are you out? It's you who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind.
Like, it doesn't really matter to me that Toby isn't really the most quippy, especially for an origin flick. It's so minor relative to everything Spider-Man 1 gets right, to the point where there are some days where I think, you know what? Maybe it's the best in the trilogy. I don't know. I think almost every aspect of it immediately stuck with me as a kid, almost one scene after another. I vividly remember seeing that final battle with Green Goblin where Peter just gets his shit rocked. It felt so nerve-wracking. Seeing a superhero get absolutely battered like that felt unique and just had me constantly on edge. I really thought Spider-Man was about to die. I thought that was it. This is how it happens. My dad was right. They're gonna bury him in the mountain.
This is interesting. This past weekend, a lot of you probably saw the Spider-Man movie. Well, okay. A simple yes is fine. Some real nerdy types are like, yes! I give it 3 web shoots. It was so good.
To set the stage of just how packed releases were, 2002 was another fat year of twos. You had Star Wars Episode 2, Harry Potter and the Chambers of Secrets, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Men in Black 2, Stuart Little 2, and what do you know, Spider-Man 1 was able to beat out a brand new Star Wars movie at the box office by almost $200 million. Even for an iconic character like that, that's pretty impressive. I think also Spider-Man 1 released at the perfect time. Obviously, there was a need to get rid of all the Twin Tower imagery that was prominently in a lot of the pre-release material, and this movie just being as bright and colorful and hopeful as it was ended up being exactly what a lot of audiences needed. And it's a near-perfect superhero movie that I'll always cherish. So who am I? Do you really want to know? Well, I guess for one, I'm a guy who definitely now owns too many Spidey products. Enough said. I'm Spider-Man. Go Web, go!